Was the immediate backlash concerning the Art Briles photo drop, coupled by an uneven performance on offense, such a big deal that just 2 games into a season that should be serving as a springboard into the SEC in 2024, the University of Oklahoma should remove offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby from the Sooners football staff? Personally, I'm going to go with no, it isn't. Lebby on Monday took responsibility for the distraction that Briles being photographed on the field at Gaylord Memorial Stadium caused following OU's win over SMU Saturday night. He apologized for the uproar that it caused and vowed that it wouldn't happen again. Now, whether or not that's good enough to move past the incident is a personal decision for each of us, but it's good enough for me. If you're among those in the Oklahoma fan base that isn't ready to move past the incident and instead plan to continue calling for Lebby to be fired, that's your prerogative. That is the last you will hear of the subject on Hall of Fame college football, however, at least until there's more news to report on the incident. Let's go! Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are about to get into quite a bit of things tonight. Going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Oklahoma after that kind of uneven performance there, going up against SMU over the weekend. We got to talk a lot about Texas. Texas going in and getting a win over Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Big time performance by Quinn Ewers and that Texas team that, hey man, we've gotten used to seeing them kind of come up short in these situations. They didn't do it this weekend. We'll also get into a little bit of what kind of seems like, I don't know, piggybacking off of these programs that you want to trash all the time for the Big 12. Also, we'll be talking a little bit about mediocre Mike Gundy and his decision to not name a starter probably even by the time Big 12 rolls around. We'll get into that and a few other things. I want to bring onto the show a couple of my favorite creators out here. As usual, guys, we're always bringing you guys top-level creators, starting off with Kchris of the Horns Down podcast, not to mention Nino.
Yeah, keep them horns up, Chris.
We got Nino from Nino's Corner, man. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Nino, we're glad to have you on, man.
Yeah, man, appreciate it, bro.
It's Chris. What's up, my man? How you been?
Oh man, I've been great, man. Been blessed, been great. I see that you brought this. Since you brought this Texas whore on this channel, he's making his victory lap around.
You brought this winner back on this channel. That's what it is.
It looks like he brought a bunch of Texas folks with him, so we're gonna have some fun inside. It looks like there's probably gonna be some fun inside the comment section too. Keep it light, folks. Keep it light, but we'll have fun with it either way. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Stephen G. Carson Carpenter, Hank, of course, as usual. Hey, man, I can't wait for the Texas versus OU either, Carson. Wilkerson, glad to see you back in here. Of course, we got Nino in here saying hook 'em already. I'm just going to throw the Longhorns down real quick, too. So we got to get that out of there. Hey, and JC Lamb, glad to have you guys in here. Brian, thanks for everybody coming in. Hey, make sure and I did steal this from you, Nino, but wipe your damn feet before you come in this house. Hit that like button. I got that off of there one night. I loved it. I thought I would laugh pretty hard on that. Loved it. All right. Widen the panels. Yeah,
widen those panels, man. You got all up in our business and stuff. They can see what I had for breakfast this morning, man.
Oh man,
calm your nerves there, kid.
chicken between my teeth. You know what I'm talking about?
There you go. Yeah.
I thought she was just pretty enough, bro. That's what I was thinking. Damn, but okay. All right. We need some OU YouTuber and Nino to have a bet for the Red River. Oh, I'm sure we can handle that. Yeah, probably gonna have the coach in here in just a bit. He's at football practice as well, and could end up with Coop and Jay in here. We'll just gang all up on him, so it'll be all kinds of fun. But hey, he's kind of used to it anyway. Hey, let's jump right into that first before because we don't have to get into this Lebby stuff right away. Talk to us about what you saw from your Longhorns this weekend out in Tuscaloosa. You were, of course, at the ball game. What were you most impressed with? What was it that really did it for you?
I thought the teams were going to be evenly matched when it comes to being physical, right? And I was surprised that Texas was way more physical than Alabama. And I don't even think it was even close, to be honest with you. I made the comment last week that whichever team's defensive line, especially on the interior, would abuse the opposing team's interior offensive line, which I thought was a weakness for both teams, that team was going to win the game pretty easily. But Texas's entire defensive front manhandled Alabama's, offensive line, which I was very shocked to see them do it that way. Alabama couldn't get any pressure on Quinn. Quinn had a clean pocket all night. Texas was, bringing pressure, on Jalen pretty much all night with 3 or 4 people. So it allowed Texas to, let the linebackers and safeties just kind of do their thing, man. So it was a great game plan by PK. I was happy for, PK because there was a lot of, stuff going around basically saying that this defense wasn't anything until Gary Patterson got there. And now look, we don't have Gary Patterson. So what's the excuse now? Right. So get him his flowers, give him his flowers. PK's a hell of a DC. Yeah, I was surprised by that. And then Quinn just being consistent. It's almost like Quinn hasn't been the most consistent, but maybe he's finally starting to come into his own right now. And then also Sark has to kind of learn him as well. So I thought Sark finally opened up the playbook for him, and Quinn's able to absorb the playbook. And he has his playmakers too. Last year, like not having Nair, like that really hurt Texas a lot because it was just the X-Men show, so X would do everything. But now bringing in A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell is
bro, that receiver room is stupid.
It's sick. So, so I was happy about that because now X-Man gets single man coverage. And if he does get double covered, then guess what? You got A.D. Mitchell to deal with. You got Whittington to deal with, Baxter. I mean, look, I was very pleased with just the physicality of the team.
That's what I saw the most of too. And I wanted to go to Kchris about that. But that defensive line, man, it showed out. It showed out, and I think that was a question mark for you guys coming in, wasn't it? Kchris, what do you think about that?
Yeah, it showed out.
That's hard to say, ain't it?
Here's what I'll say. It's very reminiscent of Oklahoma when they went to Ohio State and beat them. That's what this win is very reminiscent of. It's one of those things. I think I can speak for Nick on this, saying that it's a great win for the program, and it kind of validates what we're trying to do, similar to what OU was doing that year. Still some questions on both sides of the ball that still need to be answered as far as just consistency purpose, if we're talking about consistency. But that night right there, y'all showed up and y'all showed out and y'all did what I'm going to be honest, only the people in your fan base thought that you can do. I didn't really see you guys going down there and being more physical or this and that. But
I'll tell you, I didn't.
Kind of my thing of it is this right here is that Alabama is kind of playing with the how's this? And don't get me wrong, I'm big on the kid, and I still am. And I think he could be great, but at the same time, Alabama's kind of that they're back in the olden days where they're on that wagon. And that one wheel is just, if we can make it the distance, we can make that next 10 miles down the road, then we'll be there in town. But if we can't, then we're going to be on the side of the road. And that's how it feels with Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe takes a lot of cover. If you watch the first game and even go back, he holds the ball a little bit too long. Obviously, there's a problem with reading coverages. And I don't necessarily even know if I can blame it on the offensive line more so. And this is not me taking away anything from the performance, Nick. This is just me being honest about Bama. I don't necessarily know if it was more the Alabama offensive line for him taking coverage sacks, or when he's throwing. Let's just be honest with you. Outside of the secondary, did nothing spectacular. I mean, obviously there was pressure on him, but the secondary did nothing spectacular. What it was the fact that you guys were playing the perfect coverage, and then he's just throwing it, not even looking on the field. He's just expecting his guy to be open. Right. And then all of a sudden, Caleb Downs, let's not forget, he had freshmen all over the field playing that night, and you expect Bama freshmen to be elite, which they are. But when they're biting on simple RPO fakes and whatever, it just takes away from the offense and the defense. It was just all sorts of problems that you see that are not characteristic of a Bama defense or offense early on. I thought that the marriage between Jaden Milroe and Tommy Reese would be perfect, but there's obvious holes in that. But I mean, you got hats off to you guys. Had a hell of a night. I can't take anything away from the win. I just have I still have some questions about y'all, but I have more questions about Alabama, and that overshadows anything that y'all did. And I think that y'all are off to a great start. Consistency is my biggest thing, but I mean that offensive line, I just don't know who to blame. Is it offensive line or was it Milroe? Because you can see Milroe was still hesitant to throw the ball. He's still hesitant to make mistakes.
He was.
Let's be real. He's playing like somebody's over his shoulder. He's looking over his shoulder.
He did have somebody over his damn shoulder all night, man.
Byron Murphy and Sweat were up the middle within the second and a half. He didn't have no time to breathe. No. So I mean, this is my thing about the freshman comment. So there were none of these excuses when Texas rolled out a true left tackle freshman last year and a true right guard and freshman and
everybody handle it differently, though. That's the thing. Plus, y'all was max protecting an awful lot, so let's just be real about that.
But Quinn being a freshman too, and max protect. I think we ran a jumbo package 13 times a game, so we didn't run it that much. 13 times a game is not the majority of the game, but Bama has a 6'5", average 340-pound offensive line, right? So this big gaudy line that I told people this, and you can pull my receipts. There was something that Alabama didn't like about that line because they were just trying to throw those numbers out to intimidate people. We've never seen Alabama put numbers out that, oh my God, we're 6'5", 340 pounds, average weight, 315 pounds in the league. That was all intimidation factor. Look here, Caden Proctor is going to be a great player one day. He's 18 years old. He's 6'6", 365 pounds playing left tackle. To me, I think that's too big.
That is way too big.
That's too big. And let's be honest. We talk about guys that have played at Texas and OU, like your Savion Birds, right? The Kelvin Banks Juniors and stuff like that. These guys play Texas ball. Texas ball is a lot different than Iowa ball, right? I can say SEC ball now because we're all going to SEC, right? So SEC ball where Caden Proctor is going to be living at for the next 3 years. The recruits that he's playing against and the prospects that he's playing against now, coming from Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, whole lot different prospect than what he's playing at in Iowa. Just is what it is. I'm not dissing on the state of Iowa, but I'm just talking about football. The best talent is from Texas East. This is what it is. Right. So I think that was a come to Jesus moment for him. I knew this game was going to be special for this defensive line when I saw Middle Tennessee State have a 250-pound linebacker rush the quarterback and put Caden Proctor on his ass. I knew I was like, it's going to be special. It's going to be special Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? And so it is what it is. They had two true freshmen starting. I give them that Caden Proctor and Caleb Downs. But look, we had the same thing last year. It is what it is. We had a left tackle starting who didn't even come in the spring. He came in the summer. So he didn't get the spring workout. All right. He got whatever his summer was, and then game 2 going against Will Anderson. All right. So I don't want to hear no complaints.
You still hear those complaints because stemming back from the even the years, if you go back to if you go back and listen to Jance and Ty,
Yeah,
there's plenty of shows that they have together, even when they made the national championship game, or even when they're in the SEC championship game and all the rest of that, and they're winning, blowing people out. They're still saying our offensive line has been a problem for the last 3 or 4 years.
but that's development then.
And I don't know. You said what?
That's all development then, because
I don't know what it is. I mean, he's hired a different coach. He hired that coach from it was Kentucky or somewhere. He hired a new coach, I think, last year. Start the last season, and you thought that was going to be helpful because that guy had went to a lot of places, and that's basically what he did. He fixed the offensive line, and they still have holes. It's the stars. They have the stars and all the rest of that, but I don't necessarily know that offensive line isn't that great, but it doesn't help. You can mask an offensive line when you have a mobile quarterback, but if your mobile quarterback can't read coverages, at least that's what it seems from this game. If he can't read coverages, then what the hell is going on? He's not going to be able to mask that for them. I think defensively, Ty said it best. He's like, man, I mean, people are asking, where's Dallas Turner? No, don't ask. Dallas Turner is not playing the same role that Will Anderson played.
Yeah, where's Bradwell?
And I'm going to throw out a word that Nick loves to throw out, transcendent. You have talent over there. Don't get me wrong. Those guys are gonna test well at the combine and do all the rest of that and stuff. But just whenever you look on film, you don't necessarily see somebody that puts that fear of God in you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it wasn't necessarily. They didn't really have a great pass rush. They didn't really have a great day that day. So,
well, I think our line was, man. Look, we couldn't run the ball at all, which is something that I want to bring up too. We couldn't run on the interior. We did pretty well on the outside, reads. But I tell you what, just running up the middle, we had problems initially. I think DJ Campbell was still trying to get his feet wet in that first half. The second half, it was a wrap. I mean, he was a monster in that second half, blocking 2 people in the end zone. I mean, choke slamming people. Like, he was being nasty, DJ Campbell. What Texas wanted him to be. And Texas ran the ball really well in the second half. I mean, the last 7.5 minutes, Alabama didn't get the ball back. We got the ball, with 7:12 left in the game, and we just ran down their throat 6 straight times, first down. And that was Alabama's time to actually stop us and get the ball back. And I was like, look, we're going to run it 3 times. It's going to be a 3 and out because they're going to be ready for it. And we just gashed them, right? And so that line just pushed them like crazy.
I was most impressed with that part of the game. When you get down there and you guys had taken the 2-score lead, and that's around that 14-minute mark, fourth quarter. And then they come down and score pretty much right away. And I was like, it's not over yet. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, boom, hit them again. And I was like, holy shit. The separation. You see them come apart.
Yeah. The separation came off of really 3 plays. The interceptions that he threw, and then obviously Bama not getting the benefit of the doubt with that fumble, the almost fumble with what was his name, JT Sanders.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't even think it mattered because Texas got the ball back. I think Jordan.
Well, the position of the ball, it would have been further than just 3rd and 3rd and 8 or whatever. There was a difference.
No. He got a first down and fumbled, right? And so Jordan, he got the ball and it was still a first down. He fumbled it, actually later down. Yeah, so I think like JT got it. I think he caught it, for like 24 yards or something like that. He fumbled the ball supposedly, but he didn't fumble the ball. He was down, and Jordan, yeah, I think it was Jordan that got the ball. Yeah. So honestly, that wouldn't have mattered. The thing that really got me was I just thought Bama would have been more physical, especially at home. I'm just being honest with you, and there's no excuses that they didn't know or wasn't expecting Texas to play this well. We played them last year. You felt our physicalness last year, right? We were physical last year. We were younger last year, so of course we're going to be a little bit hungrier. Alabama is returning a lot of talent on this team this year, and that offensive line, I want to get on that, is every player on that offensive line from left tackle to right tackle was either number 1 or number 2 player at their position in their class, right? So Caden Proctor's number 1 tackle in the country this year. I mean, just go down the line. Number 1 and number 2. Anybody in the country would love to have that offensive line. If I told you here's Alabama's offensive line, every team in the country would be like, give him here, I got him. Yeah, I can make it work. So look, man.
Well, that's where they went to work when he got there. Right.
Yeah.
That's where they went to work on that O-line when he got there. That was something that everybody's talked about, that's what you had to do at Texas was to actually work on. That's what
Sark did.
All that stuff that they were talking about with the, your last coach was, hey, we weren't even getting these guys.
No.
And so when you go in and the first thing you do is build up the NIL there, it's a smart move because going into the SEC, you got to work the trenches. And this is what OU and Texas are both doing. I think the biggest thing, and look, man, it's gonna make me puke if I talk too much nice about Texas. But what I'm gonna tell you is this: when you start looking at what I saw the other night is that freaking bullshit narrative that's been out there a lot now about OU and Texas aren't gonna be ready for this SEC. I don't want to hear it anymore because you just, when Texas goes in and takes them out in their own place, and guys, everybody in there thinking that they're going to lose 3 or 4 games at Alabama, I'm doubting that. I don't see it
2 or 3 times.
Who the hell is going to beat them in the West? I don't trust LSU and Brian Kelly. I don't trust you. Damn sure can't trust Ole Miss.
Can't trust A&M.
Arkansas is going to be hit or miss. I mean, we're going to get everybody's best effort. Nick, I hope that,
and I think you go into it and it's tough, right? The first season they got both of them loaded up.
Nick, I was just gonna say I hope that we can at least agree on this. We can let bygones be bygones and agree on this right
What's
here.
That?
Both OU and Texas have had success against the SEC as of recent. Now, there's been games where we've gotten beaten, we've gotten dogged, we've gotten blown out. I get that on every type of stage, but there's also been times where even with those defenses that were atrocious, even with those defenses that were mediocre or mid-tier, even with some deficiencies at quarterback or whatever, we went in there and won our fair share of games more than we've lost as of recent to these SEC teams. And I mean, it dates back. I mean, I go back to hell. Kind of really one of the turning of the pages for us was whenever we beat Auburn in that game the year before we went to the playoffs the next year. We had Nixon and Perine. You know what I'm talking about? Jason, but what I'm saying is that I feel that now with the level of recruiting that we're getting, paying attention to the trenches and all the rest of that stuff, I think going into the SEC, you're built to have success from the get-go.
The only thing that I want to counter on that, Chris, is it was a good win by Texas. Love my team, great win. But we have been planning for that game for 6 months now.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's
we
why you didn't look so good against Rice because they were just playing.
Rice was just, we're going to out talent you. It is what it is. Right. And then let's be honest, we just saw what Rice did to U of H. Is Rice going to be a horrible team this year?
No.
Rice just put it on U of H, right? It was a massacre, to be honest with you. So, but the thing about the SEC that I think both Texas and OU are going to have to worry about, and not just worry about, but that Bama game is going to be every weekend. Yeah, every weekend. And it might not be the talent, but man, Chris, it's different with the atmosphere, the crowd. It's different.
Man, that's cool and all, but I mean, come on, man. Like we play similar teams to some of those teams, to the lower tier teams. Kentucky, going to Kentucky, there's no difference except there's more fans that are going to be allowed at the game. There's no difference.
Well, I'm not talking about just Kentucky, but look here. Let's say, for instance, you get what team in the Big 12? Let's be honest. What team in the Big 12 has more talent than LSU? Besides us and you guys, what team in the Big 12 has more talent than Ole Miss? It's not many. It's not many.
Maybe honestly, none. Probably not even.
None.
No.
What team in the Big 12? No. What team in the Big 12? Let's be honest. Has more talent than Texas A&M? All they're missing is coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas A&M is playing for a national championship next year if they got coaching. They got all the talent. Next year's their year if they bring in the right coach. but it's not going to happen because Jimbo's going to win 7 games this year, and they're going to keep him alone because they can't afford to fire him. Yeah. So thank you, Texas A&M, and thank you, Jimbo, for hopefully winning 7 games this year and keep.
I'm not sure that they can afford to not fire him.
Yeah,
man, I don't see how you can afford not to. If Notre Dame could pay freaking Charlie Weiss until like last year, you know what I mean? I mean, you find a way to do it because you got to get somebody in there. Big brothers are coming back to town, and they're gonna start working that ass, and that's not gonna work for them, man. They got to try to do something, even though it's probably not gonna matter. Yeah, but in the end, I don't see how you can keep him around because one more loss, and all facades of freaking Petrino calling that offense is off.
Yeah, it is.
Nick, we'll test your theory out next year because obviously we got LSU and Bama on the schedule next year.
Yeah. So
in between, obviously we have Missouri and Tennessee and all the rest. So I mean, we got all of them. Y'all have this is not a slight. Y'all have a lighter SEC schedule, but we're gonna test your theory to see when y'all are playing Kentucky and Mississippi State.
Let me see the schedule real quick. Let me see 2024 Texas schedule.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if your theory holds up.
But
Florida,
I think that second season probably will.
Well, okay, right? so we got Michigan, Oklahoma, Arkansas.
Are you really going to say Michigan?
Yeah, don't say Michigan, bro.
Hold on. We got Michigan, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi State, A&M, and Vanderbilt. So yeah, we got Georgia.
Okay, so outside of A&M and Georgia, the other teams, and don't put Michigan in there.
I ain't gonna say Arkansas because KJ's gonna be gone. We got you guys, and we got Michigan.
That's what I'm saying. And Florida at home, right?
We got Florida at
and then Mississippi State and don't y'all have Vanderbilt?
DJ Lagway ain't gonna be ready to do shit yet.
Don't you got Vanderbilt?
I'm gonna tell you. Look at man. I'm gonna tell you, man. That Georgia game. That Georgia game.
Hey. He gotta go to the Georgia game because he's sitting there like, ooh.
No, man.
Come on, man.
Let me see y'all schedule.
Stop playing with me, big.
Y'all playing Missouri. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that.
That was going to be an every year game, apparently. But you also get Alabama. You get South Carolina. They're trash. But then you got to go on the road to LSU and Auburn. This weird things happen down on the plains. You already know that.
What was the final score of that Auburn game yesterday? 14-10. Man, I want to hear shit about Auburn right now.
That's not the point. You just said. Weird things happen down on the plains.
I don't hear nothing about no Auburn, man.
Hey, all I know is this. We're going to find out what they look like going through that gauntlet first year, and it's not going to get easier because I think essentially they're going to have to go to that 6-3-3 after that, and that's just assuming that they don't expand anymore. Because I don't know we're going to see what happens with the ACC, but I'm excited about it, man. I feel like one thing. Let's jump into this real quick. This rah Big 12 stuff. How did you feel about that love from Brett Yormark in the Big 12, man?
Man, I wish I could curse, but I ain't gonna curse on your show like that.
I mean, you can say what you want.
Look here, hey, man, we ain't your friend, Brett. We ain't your friend. This is where Texas and OU come together. We like Bloods and Chris right now with our flags waved together. We ain't your friend, dude.
Hey, no, Nick. We like Snoop at the 94 Source Awards. Y'all ain't got no love for the West Coast.
You don't got no love. You don't got no love for the two teams that bring out the money for your conference.
No, they don't. Except for when it matters. When they're the only 3 in the top 25, then they posted that out there. Last week or whatever. And then what do? They're trolling on Bama with you guys. I was laughing. I was like, "Oh, isn't that sweet?"
Like, come on, man, Brett. We ain't your friend. I'm gonna tell you what got me. Right? Let me tell you what got me. After week 1, they want to put out that number. I guess what they say. I guess the Big 12 ain't too bad. Showing 7.8 million views. TCU versus Colorado. I hurried up and retweeted and said they tuned in to watch Dion, not you. Right. There's a reason why
TCU all last year when they were on their way to the damn championship game.
There's a reason why Dion, having a 1-11 team from last year, played Nebraska, and that was the second most watched game in the country this past weekend because it was Dion there, man. Anybody want to watch no damn Nebraska and Colorado? They want to watch Dion and what he's doing to their team. All right, so come on, man. Come on, Brett. Man, get out of here. I'm tired of that dude, man. We ain't your friend.
It's cute, isn't it? All that rah-rah posting and all that trash he was saying before that, talking about how, they haven't carried the conference in recruiting. They haven't even been in the championship game in a while.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years since Oklahoma won 6 in a row.
It's just
What are we even talking about?
The dude's a joke, man. He's a joke, man. Get out of here.
And then all that stuff with the Tech stuff, man. And that promptly Tech goes and gags and freaking
Wyoming. Of all places, Wyoming. And it's going to show the difference in talent. And I'm going to group OU in this too. It's going to show the difference in talent between Texas and OU and the rest of them dumbass teams. When Texas Tech gets whooped by Wyoming, and we're going to thrash their ass on Saturday. Believe that. Oh, we're going to put it on them. We're going to put it on them on Saturday.
Do you get them at home or are you on the road?
We got them at home.
We're going to put them at home.
We're going to put them on so bad, Arch going to get to play in that game. You know what I'm saying? We're going to put it on them on Saturday. It's going to be
we're going to love you when you're gone from the Big 12, Timothy says. I get it, bro. I get it. But
and that's the thing is that OU and Texas both have to you get past this third game, Tulsa and Wyoming. Obviously, the focus is don't trip up these next 2 weeks. Don't trip up. Trip up. And
I'll be in Cincinnati for that first
one.
I'll be out there in Cincinnati for that first one. I'm going out to check it out because we're going to, since they're supposedly so good, I don't see it, but we're going to find out.
We're going to find out about that. And then obviously y'all go to Baylor.
I ain't worried about Baylor.
Which, I mean, y'all should be good, but weird things happen down there.
I ain't worried about Baylor.
And then obviously Kansas comes.
The Colts are liable to come and get y'all asses, man.
But Nick, that's my question to you. That's my question. Whenever y'all start playing teams with better quarterbacks, play teams with.
Well, that ain't gonna be Baylor.
No, obviously not them. But what I'm saying is when you play. How should I say this? Do I think Jaden Milroe has a higher potential, has more potential, has a higher upside, and just more raw talent than like a Dylan Gabriel or Jaden Daniels? Probably so. I could say that. But those two put it all together. I mean, those two have it all together, at least for right now. So my question is how do you feel whenever y'all go up against a team with better quarterback play? Somebody can actually read coverage.
Look here, man. I ain't giving Milroe no excuses. This is third year in college. Look, though, it's your third year in college, man. I ain't giving no excuses. Yeah. It is what it is. Fair enough. My fault that you went with your first read every play and you got picked twice because you stared down your receiver. I get it.
That's fair.
Milroe, this is your third year. We were pissing on Quinn last year after his first year. You know what I'm saying? So, look, man, I'm a Milroe fan. I remember watching him in high school. He was committed to Texas. He's a special player. He is. And he wanted to tuck it down and run a lot that game. They just contained him. I mean, they just contained him. They stopped him from doing what he wanted to do. And when you take an electric player like that, when you take his best asset away from him and then tell him to limit, basically limit him and tell him to do what he's really not that comfortable with, that's like telling Quinn to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like saying, Quinn, you can't pass no more. Run it down. Yeah, right. Man. So, look.
Real quick, let me welcome to the show. Welcome in my co-host, the coach, Philip Roybal, along with our boy from Unfair Sports, Coop. What's up, Coop? Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
What's going on, man?
Coach, how you doing, man?
What's up? Doing great, man.
Nice and happy. Everybody's all happy up in here to see the coach and Coop. They've all been busting on Nino here a little bit, so hey, just wanted to introduce you, Coach, to Nino. This is Nino's Corner. He is a Texas creator. Obviously, they're excited about their weekend win over Bama. Hey, it's a big win. It's a big win. We're gonna get into talking a little bit about some of this other stuff too. You were mistaken Nino for Jay.
I'm gonna tell Jay. I'm gonna give him a text like, "Hey, man, somebody think I'm you, Jay."
He's supposed to be in here at some point too, but we'll see. But thanks a lot for popping in, folks. We got 54 people in the stream right now. I hope everybody's hitting that damn like button. Did you wipe your feet when you came in? It's very important that you wipe your feet when you come in, gentlemen. 52 people in the stream. Appreciate everybody being in here as well. But if you would like to support the show, man, we got 17 likes with 52 people in here. Come on now. They ain't wiping their feet,
They ain't wiping their feet, man.
Mm-mm.
Wipe your feet before you come in the house, bro. Take them shoes off
Hell, at
before you
least
come in the house,
dislike
man.
at least dislike it if you don't
Do something. Do
you know,
something. We gotta
get
do
something.
Come on, get us some. You
Get
got to
some
get that
interaction.
algorithm working for us now. Come on,
Throw the ball.
Hey,
Don't get sacked.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Nino, I like what you were saying right away, though, because I mean we kind of saw it in our game too. We bring out Jackson Arnold to run the bulldozer.
Yeah.
And that's like, hey man, I know you got all the arm talent in the world and was Gatorade Player of the Year. Hey,
I wasn't a fan of that either, bro. Yeah.
It's so. I mean, it's funny because when you see a quarterback scram, you saw Tom Brady ever run for anything. Everybody's like, holy hell, Tom Brady just took off out the pocket.
Peyton Manning,
He
same
ran to
thing.
get the ring.
Oh man, Peyton Manning. Oh goodness gracious! But yeah, it's just I see what you say about Jalen Milroe. Not 3 years and you still can't process. Like, come on, man. Like last week, or I guess this week, he looked about as bad as he did last year when he came in. And then everybody was like, oh, well, it's Jalen Milroe's running Bryce Young's offense. I just think Jalen Milroe can't throw. It's first read and then needs to take off or just toss in the stands.
He has a pretty deep ball, though. I ain't gonna lie. His deep ball is something serious, but it's everything else.
Well, but he's not going to be able to throw many deep balls because that offensive line from Alabama completely sucked in the ball game. They're as bad as I've ever seen Alabama in their offensive line, and their quarterback play is horrendous. And the thing is, guys, they don't have anybody in the room to step up and help them. But their line play was forward.
Yeah. And I mean, that's how much of that had to do though with that the way that D line looked on the Texas side. Hey, they got after their asses all day. That was the thing that surprised me the most about that football game was that physicality was coming not from Alabama, it was coming from Texas. So, which is wild to me.
Awkward to say.
Yeah.
And Texas guys, we've never said Texas is not talented. They're as talented as anybody in the country, but they never put it together. And now did they get after Alabama's ass? Absolutely, they got after their ass. But I'm still not convinced that Alabama's not very good, and I'm not sure that Texas is as good as we saw.
I think there's still
I'm not convinced.
It's week 2, man. There's a lot of time left in this season. There's a lot you got to prove.
I agree.
I think everybody here would say that, and that includes, hey, look, the first thing on this list of things to talk about was Jeff Lebby. He's under fire right now. Not just for the, like I said, we're not going to talk about the whole thing with Art Briles. I don't really care to. I think it's kind of stupid, the whole thing. But I'm going to say that the way that the game was called, you can complain about it if you want to. And I wasn't happy about I don't want him diving into the freaking line like that. If you want him to run, let him run. But I don't want him diving into the line on 4th and 1. I just don't want to see that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like you want to see some more aggression, don't you? I mean, that's something that we talked about. And he even said yesterday in his presser that it was time to get that done. And that's my whole feeling is that obviously they looked great in week 1. They played a better football team than a lot of people are going to give credit for. SMU, they got a good quarterback, but defensively they looked fine. But as soon as, it started to look close, then of course, they, turn on the gears, and that kind of pisses people off. Coop, what are you thinking about the way that what we saw from Saturday? Because it seemed, I remember you saying in the group chat, why are they forcing this damn run?
I mean, that's what it looked like. Again, when you talk to the people that, I talk to, we talk to, Chris talks to, stuff like that, the common denominator is that Sawchuk is still not healthy. I think that Javonte hasn't got the nimbleness back in. Sometimes when you watch Trey Sermon run when he was on OU, it's like Trey Sermon didn't really know how to do a jump cut. I mean, if the hole opened up, he was going to take it and he could lead somebody into an angle and then break it the other way or something. And that's kind of like Javonte. And then, Tolly Walker, he showed a little bit more, like, he had a little jump cut in there. But it's, you take someone, like if you toss a 35-yard bomb down the field and then they bring it down, like people get pumped up, but it doesn't gut you like a 35-yard run does. Like when you get a 35-yard run, it's like almost like an entire, group of the defense just failed. And it just felt like Lebby was like, you know what, we're going to run it right between the tackles. We're going to keep it going. There was not one pass downfield. There were more pass interferences called in week 1 than they threw passes in week 2, past 15 yards. And so, in going back and watching it, a lot of it's on Lebby, but a lot of it's on DG too. He did not take advantage of, yeah. I mean, he did. And again, you got to, if you're Brent as the CEO, as the head coach, you got to walk over and just be like, the hell's going on here? But I think that he really was, geared up, fired up. His defense was playing a good game. I've said it multiple times. I think there's a lot of coaching opportunities in these first 5 games. And you got to throw it a little bit more deeper, because we saw absolutely zero Jaden Gibson. We saw absolutely zero Nick Anderson. We saw absolutely zero Jaquez Petaway. And so
I think it's a lot of this too. Yeah, not giving up on much of the playbook.
Yeah, but at the same time, like,
give up enough to go beat their ass is what you're getting at. Here's the thing. I don't know how much of that. Listen, I don't know how much of that wasn't BV. When he went into the locker room at halftime, though, Coop, think about it. He kind of barked at that gal that was talking to him, saying, we need to go run the ball. We need to establish the run. So, and he was barking at her about it. He was in there giving Lebby shit about it. And
OU fans are some spoiled ass fans, and I'm counting myself in there because what play was OU guaranteed to run from 15 to 19?
Yeah,
that freaking tackle guard combo. Everybody knew it was coming. So the whole let's protect the gameplay, and that's bullshit. Like, stop it. That's like everybody knew that we were going to run that that combo, and we just ran it and just kept it cruising. I think it was but I will. Who was it? Hank. Yeah, we won the damn game, and we're all bitching about it. We won this game. This is a game that
we're setting up what we're talking about here for you guys to say what you got to say, because there has been a lot of bitching about it. And it hadn't been coming from us, from a lot of us creators. I didn't throw a fit about it the other night. There was times during the game they were like, man, come on, man. But I also think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that, look, here's where I'm at on this whole offensive thing. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it to where they work time off the clock or they go fast and score a lot. You cannot have it both ways. And there's a lot of times that we hear all this complimentary football bullshit, and that's not really what you're going to get with this offense. If that's what you wanted, you hired the wrong guy.
But you've seen it in certain games. I keep going back to me, I think one of the best games that he's called, one of the best games that we played where there was complimentary football, is the loss to Florida State.
Yeah, 100%.
You saw it. My biggest thing, and I know a lot of people have heard me say this, but I'll say it again, Jason, just for those who haven't. The problem for me wasn't necessarily his method of how he wanted to go about it, even keeping it vanilla. That's not the problem. The problem is that the formations, the tight formations, things like that, you haven't seen all that stuff. Maybe they're building something, and that's fine. Where are the screens? Where are the jet sweeps? Where are some of the more vanilla things that he does inside of the offense that you're used to seeing? Where are those? Because we just kept attacking the middle. We didn't attack the edges. We didn't do any of that. And so my whole thing was that we didn't give any players any chance. You heard him talk about that in the presser. We didn't really get anybody out there in the open. We didn't really give those guys a chance. I mean, we just kept it it was just very close to the brim. And so my thing was that when you see Lebby, you typically expect, okay, a couple of screens, couple of jet sweeps, couple of this, couple of that, but you didn't see any of that stuff that we're used to. And to see him going out there with tight formations, and then obviously we're used to the repetitive play calls whenever he feels that he has a matchup advantage or whenever the play is working. We're used to that. Okay. But when you're basically telegraphing those plays and everybody knows that, and you see guys just creeping up against the line, they're loading the box, and you're in a tight formation where you don't have that much blocking, and you're expecting, you know, extra blockers to be in there. You don't have no tight ends or anything like that on the field. It just was very uncharacteristic to me of Lebby. And so that's where I fail to see, you know, all the good or any good in it, except for the fact that, hey, we won and we don't win a game like that last year. And that's a fact. Yeah. But I just felt that it was very uncharacteristic of his play.
When they got close last year like that, they come apart every time.
Oh, they puckered. Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Coach.
No, yeah, I was just going to say, guys, I probably won't like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to give you a coach's perspective. Guys, it was SMU. Yeah. Okay. Let's start there with that statement. Guys, I knew when we were playing somebody that we knew we were going to kick their ass, I put my team in the worst possible situations that we could have in order to see how we were going to react during the season to those situations, because we knew we were going to kick their ass. So at the end of the day, I don't think we need to push the panic button. I don't think OU needs to push the panic button on he didn't run this, he didn't run that. Oh, guys, I don't know. I don't know that he wasn't trying to do exactly what he did. And that's why you don't have BV in his ear saying, because he knew the very same thing. And so again, I'm just saying, cut him a little slack, because sometimes you put them in those situations to see what you're going to have down the line.
And Coach, I think that, you know, and somebody bring it up here, Steve, if you guys don't listen to Damian Mackey on his podcast, bro holds nothing back. He just drops it. And so, Nino, I'll say it this way. Milroe stares down that outside receiver, doesn't see where does the safety line up in football? Typically middle of the field, right?
Exactly.
And he's like, he must have just not seen him. Well, did he not see anybody else on the field too? Because dude was floating, he had one assignment to step in.
Well, that's like the first. Go ahead.
It would be like with Texas, if Texas intercepts that ball, turns around, and they run 3 plays in 19 seconds and then kick a field goal, everybody been like, the hell? Like, but again, it's Alabama, Texas versus SMU and OU. I think the offensive line just absolutely was as mediocre as hell. Savion Byrd, he didn't see the guy he was lined up across, apparently. Everett got to come in, played pretty well. But yeah, I just really feel like it's the lack of dynamic between the backs that we're playing and a mediocre ass performance by the offensive line. That's where I think that game was left unsatisfying.
Yeah, and you know something that, Coach, I didn't even think about that, and everybody in there saying the same thing. That it does make a lot of sense that you put them in harm's way against teams that you feel like you should be able to beat. And look, as soon as it went to 3 points, what do? They go out there and they score 2 touchdowns immediately. You know,
what quarter was that in?
It took 3 minutes.
What quarter was that in, Jason?
Yeah, it was late in the fourth or late in the third, right? Late in the third, early fourth.
It was the fourth quarter, but I'm making a point.
There was 8 minutes left, right? 8 minutes left. Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel might as well be a cardboard cutout last year in the fourth quarter, because I mean he didn't do anything. I think he had one entire touchdown in the fourth quarter last year. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay. They said, all right, let's go pound it. Let's end this game. And they went down and they did it. So.
Yeah. Look, and I mean, you know, you got Jalil Farouk involved. People were asking why they weren't getting him involved. You need to have him involved in the game. Look, I think that there is a lot to be said for you're trying to get as many looks from these guys as you can before you get into conference play. You know, and it's going to be important. So to me, we're going to find out. We're going to find out what they got coming up. But I mean, look, you're not going to give the truest test until you get to Red River Week.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think that road game at Cincinnati, I'm going to be there for that. I hope that it's, you know, I hope it's not a great game. I hope they beat the shit out of them. But it is a test to see how they take it to the road. You know, this week
it's a higher level. It's a higher level test than SMU, no doubt.
Sure.
I disagree. I think Emory Jones.
Do you really?
I think Emory Jones make Reese Plumlee look like Arch Manning.
No. It's not right. It's
no, I know, but Emory Jones.
You're talking about
Emory Jones. Emory Jones threw for like 125 yards against whoever the hell they played this past week. He looked like a Heisman.
They won.
You know, this is the third. Yeah, but 125. I mean, 125 yards passing, and it's he is what I mean. Listen, with Richardson last year, he couldn't beat out Richardson. This is his third school. I think that SMU was the biggest test up until Texas. I think Cincinnati is going to have a little bit of resistance on defense, but I just feel like Emory Jones is kind of how what's his name from Iowa State who gambled his life away. So, but yeah, I mean.
I like that. That's factual.
He gambled his life away on freaking, $20 freaking games of.
Damn, man, Decker catching strays out here, man.
Yeah, bro. I don't know if you saw.
They're not strays. Those are real shots. Shit. The whole damn state of Iowa do the shit.
Did you see there is a potential like Fox Prime game in November, and it's what is it, Iowa State versus Northwestern, or is it Iowa versus Northwestern? And I'm just like that looks like what was the Adam Sandler movie, The Longest Yard? It's just, it's just too pitiful program. Just like, do you guys even want to do this? Let's just go to Hooters or come on, let's get out of here.
There you go. There you go. Hey, Jason,
you're right about this. Go ahead, Coach.
Hey, I was just gonna say, I just want to touch back on the Lebby deal, and and again, the play calling, like we said, didn't look good, etc. But Lebby really put himself in a predicament that he didn't have to be in with having Art down there on the field. And I get it. It's his father-in-law. I get all that. But he's also got to be smart enough to know, and so does Art. I mean, first of all, if that's my son-in-law and I'm Art Briles,
I stay the hell away.
Yeah,
I'm not going to put him in that situation. So and I know Art very well. We're friends, but at the end of the day, I would tell him, look, Art, keep your ass away, because he has really put Lebby in a situation where the administration had to call him in and talk to him. BV called him in and talked to him. And now if that play calling continues that way through the season, I guarantee you they're going to fire his ass. And maybe if this hiccup wouldn't have happened, then he might be able to live through it. But boy, he's really put himself.
Hold on a minute. I don't want to really talk about this shit, but I'm going to say, if we're going to talk about this, then I'm going to say this right now. I don't buy that shit. I don't buy it that they talked to him and said that he can't be around. I don't buy it. It didn't get said until way later. There's no way Lebby goes in there that defiant into that press conference if that had been a rule that got stuck to him whenever he got the job. I don't buy it.
And I don't think it was.
Steal him away from Ole Miss, and there's no damn way that was part of the conversation.
Jason, I don't think it was ever a part of the pre-conversation, the pre-game.
No, that's what's getting put out there.
I know. And I don't think it was any part of that conversation early on. I think the conversation came after, obviously, they started catching all the heat. Then they sat down and had the conversation.
That's what I'm talking about. When this fake, ridiculous.
No.
See, I told you I didn't want to talk about this, but I'm saying that there was a lot of fake outrage going on Twitter the other night.
Sure.
And listen, as much as I love OU, let's not act like we are a beacon for women's rights at Oklahoma.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, look at Lone Wolf's comment. Here's what I think. What you said about if Lebby was your son-in-law, I think Art Briles was trying to get himself seen as part of the OU program so he could go back to work. I think that is it. I don't care about any of the other stuff, but he came down with an OU shirt on. And I had a polo on earlier, and I threw an OU shirt on so that folks could see me because my sister makes fun of me all the time. But because I just wear like white V-neck T-shirts. But yeah, listen, guys, let's move on because
I really don't want to continue talking about Art Briles. I really don't. But I'll tell you that this part right here, Parker did that shit on purpose too. And he's done some stuff like this before, and we know he has with Peyton Bowen and some other stuff. And I think he does it for clicks and to get shit stirred up. In the end, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And guys, we're not going to continue talking about this. This is not we need to move on from that.
Jason,
let's go from
Jason.
Yeah.
Can we talk about and Nino, I want to hear your thoughts because I want to hear an outsider. Can we talk about the trajectory of Peyton Bowen? Because this is the most elite defensive player that OU has had since who? I mean, the fact that it's a dead silent pause.
Peyton Bowen?
Since who? Yeah, I mean, I just think his trajectory is amazing. The pass interference call was horseshit. Like, it just absolutely was horseshit. Because if you listen to Damian Mackey, he drops in some stuff. Teddy and Gabe kind of talked about it a little bit. I heard Ryan Broyles make a comment on it. He played like a 5-year NFL pro on that pass.
He's a stud. He is a stud.
Yeah. Yeah, since Roy, Mike, that's what I was thinking too. It's like the most dynamic guy since Roy. And when people were throwing out Ed Reed and Sean Taylor comps, that's silly. And because we're so desperate at defensive line, people kind of glaze over it. But I mean, there's a chance that this dude is going to be special. Nino, what have you seen? Because I want to kind of hear.
Hey man, he's special, but it's been 2 games, right? And so
only 2.
No. Yeah. I mean, but look here though. This is the same thing that we said about Caleb Downs prior to the Texas game, right? Caleb is awesome. I think Peyton Bowen's gonna be amazing. I do. But the same thing that we talked about last year with the Texas freshman, it's all got to be about the consistency. I think Peyton Bowen's going to be one of those guys he's a 3-year guy. He's gone. He's going to be a first-round draft pick. He is that good. He was that good in high school. He was sick. He was filthy. He was nasty. But like everybody says, when it comes to a true freshman on the field, just expect that's going to – who said it best? It was Joe Pop. Joe Pop said every freshman that you have starting
loss
is one loss that you're going to have on the record. Right. And so I'm not saying that's going to happen to you guys, but y'all's defense wasn't the best defense last year. It's getting better this year. It's going to be better, but we got to see them play stiffer competition. And I want to see Peyton Bowen against stiffer competition. I don't think his first real competition is going to come until he goes to Texas.
True. He will kick their ass.
Thank you, Coach.
They said about Caleb Downs.
But he's not gonna be biting on a damn RPO the entire game. I mean, let's be real. Come on, man.
You had to go against Preston.
I'm just telling you guys.
Here we go.
Peyton Bowen, I'm still crying. I cry every night when I go to bed that we lost Peyton Bowen to OU. Because I'm telling you, if going back to the statement of every freshman on the field is a loss, I wish we had his ass at Notre Dame because I would take the loss.
Hey, Coach, you didn't lose him to OU. You lost him to Oregon. Oregon lost him to OU.
Well, there you go.
And there he goes. Yeah.
Which I think we all know that's bullshit. He was never going to Oregon.
Never going to Oregon.
I think that was clear that was all about telling his parents to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
He didn't give a duck.
Yeah.
Don't ask Nick. Don't ask Nick questions like that. He's not gonna. He's not ever gonna give you a straight answer. He's gonna tell you how great Kelvin Banks was, even though they were in max protect all last year. And they were terrible on the run.
I can pull the numbers.
He ain't gonna say nothing about the numbers either this year, as far as their run game being terrible
or Ant Hill
and not having.
Ant Hill.
Hey man, I told Nino we were gonna play nice with him whenever he came in here because he was nice to me last night on his show. Relax.
Hey, Nino. If that's the case, which game are you guys losing because of Ant Hill?
Ant Hill doesn't start.
Aiden Bond doesn't start.
He played 22 plays of the night.
Where's your logic?
He had 22 plays.
Texas logic.
He didn't have 20. He played 22 out of 70-something plays. And in those 22 plays, they had him do what he's supposed to do. But he's not a guy that we are depending on down in and down out. Special situations.
Okay. Yeah,
really.
Let's see. Because I know some Texas fans that would tell me, "Hey, we're glad we have him because Ford's been a bum for the last 2+ years." But
Ford's been a bum.
Yeah,
are you serious?
Been a bum.
Who's told you that from the Texas side?
Oh, I could go down the list.
Hold on.
I've heard Kieran talk about it and all his Twitter spaces. I've heard some of the big guns.
Ford being an All-American last year, should have won Big 12. Should have won the DPOY for the Big 12 last year. Let's be honest. Numbers were better than Jack Campbell's last year. We're saying Ford is a bum as a All-American last year.
I'm just
saying.
I
can call Karen right now. I don't think
I'm just saying, Nick. I'm not a big fan, Nick. I'm just saying.
You're not a big fan? All right. How many times he picked off your boy last year? Was it Davis Bevel? What's his name? Whoever y'all had throwing the ball.
That ain't nobody's boy here. That ain't nobody's boy here.
Y'all team.
Hey, hopefully recovers, but that's nobody's boy here.
Yeah,
that is nobody's boy here. Not at all.
It would if we would have ran the fumble Ruski every single play with.
It would have worked.
Man,
nothing would have worked. It was bad.
I take
Dino. They're all over your ass, brother.
Hey, they can be all over me 49-0. We got a few more weeks. I'm talking shit until
that's fine.
Hey, Nino.
3-1 in the last 3 games. I mean, the last 4 games with you 3-1.
Huh?
Hey, here's the deal. And we all know this. This is a lot of fun, but proof's in the pudding. We'll find out in a few weeks.
We're gonna find out in a few weeks.
We will. And I would ask you, when was the last time y'all won 2 in a row in that series?
It's gonna start this year. We ain't worried about it.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm excited for it. I hope they do both show up. I know a lot of people are asking if we think they're going to both show up in the top 10. I think OU needs to go and blow some people out here in the next few weeks. Go handle business, and we'll see. And then, of course, Texas is going to have to handle it too.
Yeah, we got to handle business too. We can't have no.
You can't. And look, you can't go over there and beat Bama and then have a loss to somebody like Baylor,
Kansas, or Baylor,
or Baylor, Kansas. Yeah,
I don't.
But the history is they usually do.
But
yeah,
that's the history.
That's old history. Old history. We ain't beat.
That's every other year. That's every other year besides this year.
Yeah. That was
history because nothing happened yet.
That was the Charlie Strong and the Tom Herman years, man. That was
hell. You can go down the list of coaches. That y'all fire everybody's ass.
We only fired 2 coaches, Coach.
I want to ask about something real quick. I want to ask about something.
And then you push the other ones out.
It was Mac's turn to go.
It was Mac's time to go.
It was his time to go. It was his time to go, man. Mac was getting old.
He sure won a lot of games there.
Yeah,
and
you've had two.
Not doing too bad at North Carolina either, is he?
He don't got no pressure on him either.
Sure don't.
I mean,
don't got no pressure. That pressure.
At the end of the day, it's winning games, pressure or no pressure.
And bowls.
Yeah, he's going to overtime with App State, though, man. I don't know.
He don't got no pressure over there either.
Hey, so let me ask you guys a question. What the hell's going on with the SEC? What the hell's going on with the SEC? Not just the Texas game. You start looking at LSU. These are teams that are supposed to be competing. Now, obviously, Georgia hasn't played anybody yet. They're not probably going to play anybody till they get to that Tennessee game. But Tennessee struggled.
Yeah,
you have obviously Florida looks like trash,
Garbage.
but honestly, what's going on in this early part of the year? These out-of-conference games are not going well for the SEC. What's up with that? Where do you think this is coming from? Nino, go ahead and tell us what you think.
Oh, man, look, I'm going to make Chris happy when I say this about Tennessee, because Chris been screaming this for about 2 years now.
Joe Milton?
He said Joe Milton is not that guy. I'm not going to say that yet, but he's looking like he's not that guy, Chris.
It's quarterback play. It's quarterback play. Listen, Jaden Daniels got to sneak up on some folks, and now everybody had an offseason to look at film. Bama, we saw what they have. A&M, we know what they are. Joe Milton, whatever. But I mean, there's no great quarterback play in the SEC. Jackson Dart right now is like the leading quarterback in the SEC.
I'll put it like this right here. If you start with LSU coming out of that game, I knew one of those teams was going to be the disappointing team. I'm talking about Florida State and LSU, and the reason why I say that is simply off of tendencies that I see that they have. Florida, real quickly, just to kind of my problem with Florida is that I like Keon Coleman. I think he's put himself in that category as arguably the best wide receiver in the nation right now, just off of even with just these 2 games. The problem is for me with Florida State is that a lot of their big yardage plays, a lot of their big plays come off of broken plays and just him extending the plays. I mean, that's just what Jordan Travis does. But if you go to LSU, you kind of saw this happening because even last year you still saw it a lot. They had a lot of stalls. As good as Jaden Daniels is, and I know a lot of people want to crown Neighbors as one of the top wide receivers in the nation, but what have they really done offensively? They don't necessarily have a running back that has emerged or is going, in my opinion, I don't think they have a running back that's going to emerge this year and be great for them. They're going to live off their defense, and they're going to have to put drives together and score points. There are a bunch of teams in the SEC, including Alabama, who cannot afford to play from behind. They have to play with the lead this year. It's dire for a bunch of these SEC teams that they play from ahead, not from behind, because as good as some of their defenses are, I don't know if their offenses are good enough to compete with some of these high-flying offenses, these offenses that can actually score and put up points. When you have I think this for the lack of a better term, when you have a competent quarterback back there who can make all the right reads and can make that and move the ball down the field, and I'm not talking about like Joe Milton, who's just looking for that one that bomb down the field. I'm talking about somebody who can actually work the field and make the right reads. When you're facing a competent quarterback back there, I just don't know if they have enough to keep you there. I mean, I feel like Georgia does. I feel like Georgia has the luxury of being able to turn it on and off because of some of the weapons they have offensively, especially with Bowers. But not a lot of teams in the SEC can actually say this year they can come in and afford to play behind or try to fit and go and finish off a team in the fourth quarter, because I just don't think the offenses are going to be as good as they have been in the past.
Amen, brother. I'm with you all the way.
I agree. I agree. You have some all-worldly quarterbacks the past couple of years in the SEC. I don't know if there's any gamer. I mean, as I look through this, I don't know if we have a gamer. Good night, baby.
And that's, I guess, going to be your question about Georgia is can this kid come in and be a gamer like what you had with Stetson Bennett?
Yeah.
I mean,
Bennett he's got time to turn into one for sure.
That's true.
This is one of those years, and it hasn't happened all that often. But just like when OU went to the college football playoff, and there was another year as of recent, but this is one of those few years that you can say, at least early on, the SEC is not as stout there, holding that onto that position as the best conference. They're not as stout. I think that, really the biggest X factor, if USC was to go to the playoffs right now and they had to go through Bama and Georgia, the biggest X factor is what defense are you going to get from Grinch? You know, because
that.
Caleb's going to be able to put up points, but if their offense stalls for a while, are they going to be able to actually hang in there with a team, or is the team just going to be physical and take advantage of this new clock rule and just run, win the time of possession battle for real? So it's just one of those things where it's kind of a wild card year this year. And I think that when you look at it, do you take the winner of the SEC West, or are you taking the field? And I think this is a year that and I think that, Nick, this is where I'll bring in Texas. I think Texas, what they were able to do at Bama makes you as a fan outside of the SEC of any team. I think it gives you a bit more peace of mind about saying, I'm going to take the field over the winner of the SEC West or an SEC East this year. Either way.
Really?
Here's something crazy. So in the SEC, Ole Miss leads the SEC in scoring. They put up 110 points. I'll Venmo you $5 if you can tell me the number 2 team in scoring in the next 5 seconds in the SEC.
Carolina?
No way. It's got to be Tennessee.
No,
Vanderbilt.
But they had 3 games. They played 3 games.
Yeah. They've had 3 games, but still, like it's.
Jay from
I'm gonna say this:
Sports.
Missouri has tossed up 58 points in 2 games, and they're bringing up the rear here. Followed by Florida with 60 points. I mean, it's just they don't have the potent offenses, and the defenses. I mean, it doesn't look like there's great defense being played either. I think that they lack a dynamic quarterback play. I mean, again, when you're saying Jackson Dart right now is having the best campaign in SEC quarterback, I mean that's saying a lot, and that's not saying a lot about Jackson. That's just not saying anything about the field. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, it is more open. I think when we made our picks before the season started, I think Coach, when we were going over it, that's why one of the things I said is like, listen, it's somewhat wide open, and it's going to happen again next year too, because there's going to be a whole new crop of quarterbacks in the SEC next year too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair point.
I agree.
I'm just, man, look, I hate A&M, but I had them winning that game, and I'm shocked that their defense gave up 48 points. If there was one thing that I was going to say A&M was going to be able to hang their hat on this year, even with the Bobby Petrino mess and, Jimbo and who's going to call the plays, their defensive line is outstanding. They got pushed around. And their secondary, Lord have mercy. They have like no cornerbacks. They have no cornerbacks.
We talked about this. You go to Texas A&M, that's where 5-star defensive linemen go to die. It's been tradition. Right?
Exactly, man. I just don't
the cash and go to die.
It's just a matter. It's one thing to stack talent in like the skill positions, right? Texas has done it for years. Never recruited the offensive defensive line, but stacked skill. It's like having a Ferrari with Walmart tires, right? We used to have all the skill position players you want and no beef on the interior. But Texas A&M has the beef on the interior, on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. But it's just like, what the hell is going on there? Especially on that defensive side of the ball. As strong as they were last year, I mean, they were a strong defense last year, man. That was the only thing that kept them halfway in games, man. But, man, I tell you, man, I'm shocked by them. Let me see. Who else am I shocked by? Auburn. Man, Auburn barely getting by this weekend. I mean, that was kind of alarming.
Hey,
Tennessee.
Man. You gotta remember.
Kentucky?
Cal is a scolded spouse. They're pissed. They got left to dry. They got left to die. And then someone gave them a life preserver. And now they're like, no, I'm coming after you.
No, hey, Jay, but I'm going to tell you what else. Look, man, the damn Kentucky game. Kentucky, what was it, 27-14 against Eastern Kentucky or Western Kentucky? It was like one of those damn schools that's like, Western, Northeastern, Kentucky, whatever. All right.
School of the blind.
It's like, how does that happen? And I'm high on Devin Leary. Like, I like Devin Leary, right? I'm like, Devin Leary comes from, NC State, has a hell of a year 2 years ago, tears his pec last year, comes to Kentucky, and I'm like, look, they're going to tear it up. They got great wide receivers. The line is finally starting to get there. I think Devin Leary has a long shot to be an all SEC player if he plays this thing right. I mean, he does have that kind of potential. And for them to put up 27 to 13 or 14 against Western Kentucky at home, you know, it's like, come on, man. So yeah, I'm with you. There is no, and Chris knows I love this word. There are no transcendent quarterbacks in the SEC this year.
Transcendent.
Chris, you on mute, Chris.
There's not a single one. There really isn't a single one.
What? Yeah, what? Jay, they ain't a transcendent quarterback
in SEC. Name them.
Oh, that's what I'm asking you.
Name them. There's not one. Not a single one.
Okay.
There's good quarterbacks. There's no transcendent ones. There's levels. There's levels too.
I'll remember that one. Thank you.
Remember it. Write it down. Take a picture. I said it for a reason. There is not a single transcending quarterback in SEC this year. There's really good ones, but there's no really one that goes in there and wins the game by themselves. There's not a single one this year.
Now, one guy that I can say, if Spencer Rattler were on a different team,
yeah,
I kind of feel bad for him being in South Carolina. You know, and
why? I don't.
You saw him at OU. You saw him at OU. He got pulled twice against y'all.
I know, but you know, look,
not once.
Twice. There's a lot of pressure put on these kids, man, and I think he had to be humbled because Spencer had a little bit of.
He still ain't there. He's still not there, Nino.
Yeah, I know, but humble.
He didn't have a little.
I think mentally, I think the game is slowed down. He's looked pretty good these first two games.
He's always been mentally slow.
No. I think mentally the game is slowed down for him. He's slow.
I hate you, Coop.
Oh my God!
Hey, Nino, you set yourself up for that, right? You open that door.
Nick and I agree on this. Spencer Rattler with a better offensive line. It never made any sense going to South Carolina. It's one of those times where you say, kid, you say, son. I get it. You want to go play with your friends. That's fine. But him with a better offensive line, damage.
Nino, can you throw us another softball?
Nino, throw up another one. We need another one, my boy.
I don't know. Let me see.
Hey, South Carolina does lead that.
Sucks.
They're trash, man. Trash. They're oof.
Bad, Tennessee. Bad. We talked about Tennessee. Chris was trying to bait you in there, Jay, about your boy Milton.
He can try all he wants. I never said that Milton was a transcendent quarterback. I just said I like him. I think he has a good arm.
Pick one,
Milton, and he still also has to prove to me that Heupel and Halsey has developed him to be better with touch, which he looks better with his touch now, but I need to see more still. I'm not going to say he's transcendent. I'm not dumb to say that. I mean, Chris is the only one dumb enough to say that Spencer Rattler's transcendent. I would never say that mess.
Hey, I've seen Spencer Rattler win championships. I haven't seen Joe Milton do that in his 6 years.
Spencer Rattler wins shit.
Big 12 championship? We're not considering. We're not talking about that.
That wasn't him.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that against
that was
Ramondre. Okay.
That was Ramondre.
That we're not talking about him. He wasn't him that did it. Come on now.
I'm just saying. I've seen him go out there. I'm just saying.
You got some crime over here.
No, he's not a Sooner, bro. He's not. He's not
Marcus Russell Light.
I will say Spencer. I mean, so right now South Carolina, 408 yards per game passing. They number one in the SEC. Auburn comes at last at 148.5 yards per game passing.
Jesus.
Freeze. That old Hugh Freeze project. Trouble,
man.
Trouble down on the plains.
Who else, man? Okay, LSU. I want to say something about LSU.
Yeah. Who is him? He is him.
It is always hard.
Sean, I love
your first game of the season to come out against Florida State. You know what I'm saying? Like Florida State is one of the top teams in the nation.
I do like
KJ get thrashed,
boys.
Yeah, I like KJ too. I do.
205 yards per game passing. KJ Jefferson.
Who KJ?
Yeah, but he also adds 150 on the ground.
Yeah. How about Rocket? Is he fine now or what?
Rocket, I think he's okay, isn't he? Or is he out?
Because he was day-to-day last week, right?
Man, that's a hell of a backfield if he's healthy.
Yeah. But I was surprised
like
by LSU, man. I was surprised.
And
by LSU.
guys, as we talk about the SEC and the quarterback issues there and so forth, I just got two things to say about two SEC teams. Number one, LSU. Everybody thought they were going to be world beaters, but they forgot Brian Kelly's the head coach. And then number two, Alabama. Alabama's Alabama, but people have seemed to it slipped their mind that Tommy Rees is their offensive coordinator. Guys, those two guys are, and I'm not saying Brian Kelly's not a good coach, but I'm going to tell you what, I don't think he's a good fit at LSU. His singing, his dancing, and his all that crap.
And the fake accent.
The fake accent, exactly.
I'm from Louisiana. That rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, he needs to worry more about coaching football and recruiting football players than he does doing all that shit. But that's the reason. I just don't think he's a good fit at LSU. I think he's a good football coach. I think his track record proves that. But again, I mean, I'll be honest with you, as a Notre Dame fan, I'm glad his ass is gone. And I'm glad Tommy Rees is gone. And I'm glad he took Buckner with him. But at the end of the day, I think both of those schools have some huge issues with coaching too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious that something ain't right there, but I still think that these guys are going to do some stuff. I think if Arkansas can keep that backfield fairly healthy, they're going to have a chance at it. But I still think it's Alabama, guys. It just is. In the West.
Oh my God! With that line, did you see that?
Did you
see that damn offensive line?
You just talked about LSU. What the hell are they going to do with them?
Well, they're going to have a cluster. I won't say it, but they're going to have a cluster when they play each other.
Hey, listen. When Georgia plays Alabama for the first time ever, they're going to get caught speeding into the backfield all day long. They're going to be.
You're going to get all kinds of pissed off in here now.
They're going to get destroyed. I'm just that offensive line. It looked like. I mean, it just looked like somebody was playing a joke on us. It looked bad.
Y'all give my Texas defensive line some credit.
Hey, no, listen, I do. I do. You take advantage of what's in front of you.
No. Hey, look. I said the same thing though. The same thing. I was not impressed with our offensive line against Middle Tennessee State. And Jay can tell you that. Last week I said it loud and clear. I was like a 250-pound linebacker just knocked over a 365-pound tackle. Ethan Burke's gonna have a lot of fun on Saturday night. I mean, I think those are like my exact words. So yeah, I'm with you, but it's gonna be interesting. I still think it's Bama. It's
still Bama, bro.
It's still Bama. They're gonna get things corrected.
If Arkansas could somehow find a way to keep those two guys, but that's all they got. What else they got? Their defense isn't that good. Right.
Let me say this on Bama, and I actually recorded something earlier on it that'll go out tomorrow. But this is kind of my gist of things. I think it's hilarious that anybody actually think that Nick Saban, one, is done, two, that they don't have talent. Y'all gotta remember they had 10 2-4-7 5-stars in their last cycle. They also have a 90% blue chip rate on their roster. They're the highest in college football right now. Georgia was the highest the last 2 years. Bama is there. The problem is a lot of their players are really young, and once they click, it's over. And I think by the time they play actual competition, which I think will be Tennessee, second or the third Saturday in October,
Arkansas,
which I'll be at that game.
Arkansas, that's gonna be the first competition. Maybe Ole Miss, Jay. Ole Miss.
I have zero belief in Jackson Dart going against Nick Saban. And as much as I like KJ Jefferson, Saban will be prepared for him. He is meticulous like Bill Belichick. Arkansas doesn't have anything outside of KJ Jefferson. And I don't think KJ Jefferson can carry them to this victory. But that Tennessee game is going to be a test. And the reason why the Tennessee game is going to be a test for them is because they'll have a week off and then LSU's right afterwards. And so I think they're going to be watching LSU. They're going to be paying attention to LSU and Tennessee. They might sleep on, even though they lost that game to Tennessee last year. they're probably going to be amped up for that, but that LSU game is going to be on their mind. I think that will be the first test because they may overlook Tennessee. I don't think they overlook those other games.
Jay, how about
I
this?
agree with that one too, Hank.
How
I
about
think
this
Jim
one?
Leonard probably does end up there.
At Cal
Hey, I just want to respond to something on Hank. Hank, you busted my balls tonight about Notre Dame. And so I just want to say you mentioned earlier that there comes that Notre Dame arrogance. If you've listened to me, I hadn't said shit about Notre Dame.
We're going to bring them up next.
And secondly, you said, but Coach, before talking about quarterbacks, who will be the quarterback at Notre Dame next year? Number one, I don't give a shit at this point who's going to be the quarterback next year.
Spencer Rattler.
And number two is the second thing is I haven't said a damn thing about quarterbacks. So you misunderstanding. I haven't talked about whether quarterbacks are good or bad. No.
Look at what you did, Hank.
Buckner.
Look at what you did.
Other than Buckner. And I wouldn't even call him a quarterback.
Coach, are you behind on the show? Because he said that shit like 45 minutes ago.
No, I've been listening to y'all shit.
He's been holding it. He's been holding it in. Coach has been holding it in, waiting to let it go.
I can't do it.
Lord have mercy. Hey, if y'all are not enjoying this, folks, why? I don't know what else we can do for you here. Only half of you folks have hit that like button that are in here right now. Hit the damn thing. Take your shoes off before you come in this house. Let's go. All right, now. Folks, let's talk a little bit about Notre Dame. Hey, this is a physical football team. This is a real contender to the playoff, if you ask me. They're going to beat Clemson. I think they're going to beat the shit out of USC. They actually have a defense and a quarterback. And that running game is real. They're going to out-physical those guys. I don't know that they get Ohio State, but I don't see how they –
But let me say this, Jason. I'm glad you feel that way. Because not many people felt that way before the season, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. We hadn't really played anybody yet. Last weekend was a little bit of a test. It was a little bit of a test last weekend.
Yeah.
But we got to get. We play another numbnut football team this week. The Chippewas, Michigan.
Hey, whoa! Don't y'all be disrespecting the Chippies.
It's not Oklahoma State they're playing. The Chippewas can only be Oklahoma State.
South Alabama, and they're going to get beat by South Alabama, by the way.
So I'm just saying, I'm yet to say, you know what? I think we're going to win a national championship. Now, do I see a little light at the end of the tunnel down there? Well, yeah, I do. I think Hartman's numbers through his football career are incredible. And you can see him in the games. He makes the offense go. But to say we're going to be a national champion at this point, hell, I'm not even sure, what one of the rankings has is at number 10. I'm not even sure. I think that's screwed up. I don't think we played anybody enough to deserve a number 10 ranking. So
here's the thing I feel about that. You said before
I think we're pretty damn good. Here we go.
That's one of those trap kind of games where you go to NC State and got to deal with them. And it's not easy. And then they had to start, and then you get lightning and all that other stuff. Yeah. So we
got to eat a lot of damn hot dogs during that rain delay.
Took them apart.
Listen, NC State had a 10-point victory over UConn in week 1. I don't think that they're anything. It is. We need to see Ohio State before we really. And listen, I'm the one who says I think Sam Hartman's going to be a day 2 pick in the NFL draft. I think he is a legit. He's a legit quarterback. Giving up 24 to NC State. I'll reserve my judgment on the defense, but between Estime and Hartman, they're going to be a competitive football team in every single game.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, look, I think Notre Dame, man, they got 2 true tests this year, and it's USC and OSU. Ohio State has not looked good either.
They get them both at home.
They get Duke at Duke too, though.
We'll see. Duke
guys,
we got to stretch. I'm not impressed with. I'm not impressed with.
We got to stretch that we could lose any of. once we play the Ohio State game, guys, we got a 5-game stretch that, we're going to have to play well week in and week out.
Yeah,
Well, that's where you have to worry about those little trap games in between these other games, right?
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And that's what I'm
I
saying.
like Notre Dame against Ohio State. I do. I like them. I'm just not sold on Ohio State.
Well, you know what? We should have beat their ass last year, but like we talked about a million times, we didn't have a quarterback that couldn't throw to feed the starving birds, and then he goes and lays the ball like a damn hen out there.
Like that this past week, man. Shit.
Wow.
But now you guys got a quarterback, and Ohio State's trying to find one, right? And so
That's what's crazy, right?
Yeah, I think
like.
Look, man, I think you guys murder Ohio State. I'm not impressed with them this year, and they haven't had any competition yet. I think you guys tear their ass up. Duke beat Clemson, but I'm not impressed with Clemson. Clemson,
no, they haven't been playing very well.
I think you guys beat Duke. I think you beat Louisville. I think, honestly, just me talking, y'all season rests on the USC game, October 14th. I think that's going to be the game. I think after that, you guys clean shop. You beat Pitt, you beat Clemson, you beat Wake Forest, and you beat Stanford. It's that USC game because I got a feeling y'all about to kill Ohio State. I'm not impressed with Ohio State. And they coming to y'all house too. And y'all coming? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What is Ohio State? What do those quarterbacks look like without 2 top 10 receivers, like 2 top 10 NFL draft picks?
Marvin Harrison Jr. over there. You look like crap. It's like, come on, man.
And a 5-star running back.
Yes.
Well, the funny thing is that no matter what you got, if you ain't got a quarterback,
yes, it's a wrap.
That's ready. It's a wrap, and we've all learned that's been the rule of college football the last few years. You can't have just a dominant defense anymore.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett proved that. Stetson Bennett got that confidence, and he went out there and showed moxie. The second season, the first season, the defense carried it. Second season, he showed that moxie, and he started doing his own thing. You cannot win without both.
That's true. Exactly.
Hey Jay.
Exactly, Jay.
Who does JT Daniels play for next year?
This is his last year. Legally, he can't play no more.
Bullshit.
I don't know.
It is. Unless he gets an injury waiver, he has to get hurt within the next 2 games.
What about the COVID
that dude's
year?
done.
This is COVID year he's playing?
This is COVID year. It's COVID year.
Because he's been in there, 6 years now? It's 6.
He's played 6 years, 3 different teams.
And played at
JT.
It's okay. It's okay. Hartman's played for 12 years.
Yeah, Hartman's an AARP, man. Ty already told us he got a life alert NIL deal, which is beautiful. It's right there in his shoulder pad. Had me in tears. I thought Nick was going to pass out on the live stream.
Press the button. They come to get him. Ambulance is coming, baby.
Oh my God! So
Sam Hartman hosted Brandon Whedon on his recruiting visit.
That, my friends, is hilarious.
That's an old ass man, Dan.
It is indeed. Hey, it was funny that actually Gray House was talking about that before the season started. He said, "Shit, man, I was like 8th grade whenever he started school. It's 7th or 8th grade or some shit like that.
You know? Garrett
and
Wilson
now he's throwing touchdown passes to him.
I know. Man, it's good to see Great House do well.
Hey guys, Great House is a man child.
Yeah. He's a baller. He's a baller.
How did he get out of Austin, bro? Texas
made him a priority too. Texas had Jonah Wilson,
Well,
and
if you had the choice, what would you do?
Come on,
we know what I do.
That door was open. He kind of got you there.
He can want to come back home when that first piece of snow hit his ass.
Thank you, Kchris, for coming in.
Fair point. That's a fair one too, Nino.
He's gonna get some barbecue and boiled brisket. He gonna want to come home every day.
Subscribe to the Horns Down podcast.
I hope we play Texas. That'd be a great game.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be good.
I actually think that would be a good one, especially with an old head quarterback that's that knows how to has seen a lot of defenses and can be focused. That blocking may be a problem for Notre Dame, but I think that overall, what's the running back's name? What's Notre Dame's running back? Estime.
Well, which one of the 5-headed monsters do you want me to talk about?
Estimate's fun.
Coach going in right now.
Our running back room, our running back room's full, boys.
Yeah, y'all got a fun running back room. I think it would be good as long as y'all are good at blocking. That would be a fun game. I can't even argue that. That would be a fun one.
I think a big thing is we got to get our guards to have better play, because our two tackles are extremely good, but it's our two guards, and that was a question from the start of the season. I think it still remains that way.
Yeah. I like their chances, man. I really do. I think that the more that I watch them, I like their physicality, and you haven't seen physicality like this out of a Notre Dame team in a while, right? You just haven't, and on both sides of the ball. Yeah, man, Mike, drop that in there if you will, and or you can go and find mine. It's just JW_HOF. Yeah. So for sure, guys, it's I'm excited about this. Let's talk a little bit about Mike Gundy real quick. We got to end it by talking trash about Mike Gundy. Just
I want to talk bad about Gundy.
Don't you want to talk trash about Mike Gundy?
I mean, I think it's
Come on now.
What kind of Sooner doesn't want to do that? Come on.
There's less people on this on this video than there are quarterbacks playing in the game next week.
That's fair. That is a fair question. And here's it. And he even said he doesn't see it playing out by the time the Big 12 season starts. They got it's fun stuff. Playing three quarterbacks, and somehow I don't know what is he trying to do here? Well, I don't get it.
I think
he doesn't know what he's going to do, to be honest.
Here's the thing. He can't leverage the Tennessee job anymore. Yeah, he can't leverage the Tennessee job anymore. He's a sideshow character. I mean, you know that friend who we were like, wouldn't it be funny if you went up and asked for like a Filet-O-Dick or something like that at the drive-thru, and the friend's like, let's do it, and he goes and does it? That's Mike Gundy. I mean, all he is a sideshow.
It's so ridiculous, right? So ridiculous.
And it's crazy.
And they just lap that shit up in Okie Lightland too.
Yeah.
Lap it up.
Not everybody. Listen, my whole family Oklahoma State fans, and none of them are happy right now.
Well, the greatest amount of them are, but I'll tell you, who doesn't love Gundy's new look? Dyed hair and gray beard. Yeah, it's pretty cute, right? I tell you, he loved on me and Coach at Big 12 Media Days, didn't he? Mediocre Mike. Is going to rule the Big 12, he says. That's the funny thing. I think that they're going to get further and further away from being worth the shit in the Big 12 because they're not going to play OU anymore. The one thing you might get your edge with is playing Oklahoma, and they don't want nothing to do with it. I mean, I understand why he doesn't. I mean, he's 3-15. I mean,
he's got all the. I mean, he's got all of the. He has zero risk of ever being fired. And I answered my question. That's where JT Daniels is going to be next year. Is Oklahoma State.
There it is. I'm surprised you won there.
He's going to find another year.
That's funny.
He's going to find another year.
He'll get 25% of the snaps with the other 4.
Hey, Stephen G. I'm going to answer your question real quick. Coach, can you tell us why he hasn't selected a starting quarterback yet? Because he's a dumbass.
And he don't want to throw his kid in there full time and get him beat up and blamed is what it is. I think on that side. I think Gunner's the best one.
You think so?
I do.
Yeah.
Hey,
earlier tonight,
ain't it?
It's not I haven't watched enough Oklahoma State ball this year to.
Nobody has.
Just enough to get a good chuckle in.
Hey, earlier tonight, my kid was trying to do homework, and she was like, "I can't find a sharp enough pencil to write with." And I looked at all 3, and none of them had more than 3 letters in it. That's what Gundy looks like when he's walking in that quarterback room. They don't have a sharp pencil, and you're just tossing, and you can't run, and you've got somebody from a junior high football team that leads your defense now. So
that's crazy.
It is, and I think that as soon as OU gets out, every single other team in the Big 12 is going to over recruit his ass, and they're going to have a hard time because. It's there's the relevancy is going to disappear.
They're trash. Yeah, look, if you weren't having a hard enough time recruiting, in Oklahoma. Now OU goes to the SEC. Forget it.
That's going to be a few teams. So I mean, like, look
Yeah.
at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
You know, pulling Micah Hudson here the other night, and we're like, all right.
Bro, that's
When
a
you
big
realize-
move, though.
It's-
I think Joey's a good coach, man.
He is, but you know, it's going to be hard to to sell to these kids now that at
Can
least they
keep him
did
if he wins? Can they keep him from Texas A&M?
Yeah, they've got the money.
Yeah, that's
Tech
the
does
thing.
not have the money. No,
Yeah, they do.
stop.
Yes, they do.
Stop
Yes,
it.
they
Oh,
do.
that oil money is
Yes,
oil
they
money's
do.
kicking
Yeah.
right now. You see the gas prices?
That's
Yes,
not
they
an
do.
oil school, bro. That is not an
They-
oil school.
Hey,
It's not an oil school. It's the alumni. The alumni has the money.
Yeah, they got the
That's
bread. That
They don't have the same bread that A&M has, man. Come on.
no.
Oh no, they got
no.
A&M or Texas bread, but they got bread.
No, but they got bread.
Oh no, well yeah, but come
I don't
on.
think anybody got their
It's-
bread.
The,
They
the
got
bread's a
enough
little
bread.
bit stale, boys. The bread's a
SMU?
little stale.
The milk's gone bad.
I think it's hard.
They got enough bread for two, maybe two top tier guys, right? That rumor, like a couple years ago, which wasn't a rumor about Quinn maybe going to Texas Tech or Texas, like he visited, like that was real, like that was real. They had the money.
It's
that
a
was
weird
real.
legitimacy, but it was legitimate.
That was real.
But you know what, guys, going back and I've watched Tech for since I live right here by them, and I've watched them for years and years, and I know when the Pirate was there, they had some really good quarterbacks.
They did.
But
they had-
I've slowly seen a decline in quarterback play
Mhm.
there at Texas Tech, and what's the kid's name now? Slaw or what?
Yeah,
whatever.
Tyler
Shuck.
Shuck.
Yeah, I don't
Shuck.
think he's the
He's
guy.
not it.
He's a dude from Oregon, right?
Shuck.
The transfer
Okay.
from Oregon.
I don't think he's the guy.
He's not. The guy.
But I really do. For them to be good, for them to be really good, they've got to have a decent quarterback. I mean, because they're not going to get the players that the rest of the schools get. And so they need to have a good quarterback. I mean, everybody needs a good quarterback, but they especially
You
need
got-
one, in my opinion.
Well, and I mean,
Yeah.
they've got what 2-3 Elite 11 finalists coming right in behind him. I don't know why. The guy that they got, what's his name? That's the backup right now. Shit, it just escaped me.
I'm gonna pull him up.
For
right
who?
They haven't played anybody. I was trying to
The
go back.
backup,
to
he hadn't
see.
really got to
Yeah.
play, but he lit up Okie Light last year. I mean, until it got out. Yeah, I think he got hurt too. But
Yeah.
I think that he looks. But Baron Morton is who it is. He's a good
Morton,
player,
yeah.
man. He's a good player. And then that kid that they got that lit up Elite 11 this year, that they said Caleb Williams and Michael Penix were like, damn. He just had like a 10-12 touchdown game last week.
Oh yeah, that's the kid who. Yeah, but it was in a loss too. He had like 800 yards or something in a loss.
Insane, right? 800 freaking yards.
Yeah, we were texting behind the scenes, me, Jay, and Ty about that.
You know what's funny is Texas Tech hasn't had a decent quarterback since Mahomes left.
That's crazy.
Not one.
Heck hasn't
I mean,
had one. Probably
they had
not. It's
Shimanek.
because I don't think that Shucks it, but I think that Baron Morton's pretty good, and then that kid that's coming in behind him is going to be pretty good too. I just don't know that I believe in that offensive coordinator so much, and I know they love him out there, but he keeps getting these guys hurt. There's something about the way they're doing protection or something. And Joey is a freaking defensive coach. They're actually playing a lot better defense than they normally do. Hell, they had a guy in the top 10 of the draft last year.
That is true, and their defense has been pretty stout this year. To be honest,
It's been
with
a
you.
lot better, but again,
Do you guys know who the leading quarterback for Texas Tech was in 2018?
Oh,
Alan Bowman.
yeah, Bowman. Yeah,
5 years ago.
again, we just talked about that guy. Sucks.
wow. 5
He
years
can't
ago.
he can't win the job from Gunnar Gundy.
It's I mean,
I don't get it.
it's just bad.
Well,
But
technically, Mike is sleeping with one of the quarterback's moms anyway, so it kind of
Fair.
makes it. That's tough.
Donovan Smith was
I'm just saying, if you think about it, when you think about it, one of those quarterbacks' mamas getting banged by Gundy, so it's kind of that's a tough conversation to have.
Yeah. I would say something. I'm just not gonna say it.
Yo.
Tell me my baby's starting tomorrow. Yeah, he's starting, baby. Oh,
He's
my
starting.
God.
If he wants to go back to that location.
I love it.
Damn, Jay, that was hard, brother.
I'm in. I like it.
Am I wrong?
You ain't
Please
lying.
tell me I'm wrong.
You ain't lying. You had me. I was like, what the
I don't know,
hell?
man. I don't know if maybe he can't get it up no more because he ain't getting it up for his team. So I don't know.
I'm
Now
just
we're really,
saying.
now we have gone off the ledge here, folks. We have really gone off the ledge here. We're talking shit like on another level. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, and Hank Donovan Smith threw for 12 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Yeah.
I will question your did the damn thing perspective. 1,500 yards.
Yeah. Where's he at now? He's at U of H, right?
Yeah, I think so. They're doing
I
well.
think
Yeah,
so.
Donovan Smith. Yeah. He's and
They lost to Rice.
They lost to
Lost
Rice.
to Freed last week.
He got tore up by Rice.
What?
The fighting
But he
JT
did.
Daniels.
He did the damn thing.
And
JT Daniels, future starting quarterback, Oklahoma State, 2027.
His presidential campaign.
Hey,
He's-
man,
he's-
it is what it is.
JT
I love
Daniels.
it. I love it.
JT Daniels is
He's running for office.
oh,
His ass beat Texas. Wasn't it Shuck that beat Texas? No,
No, that was Donovan Smith.
it was Donovan. Okay,
Yeah, it was
well, he's
Donovan.
definitely the best athlete that they have there.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
definitely a better athlete, no doubt.
But didn't they beat OU last year too at the same time?
Shuck got him. Shuck
Oh,
got him.
Shuck. Okay, that's right. Damn, we done got tore by some
Some
garbage.
bullshit. Hey, I'm gonna tell you,
Dog.
bro. I've seen that field goal since then. It went through.
My only defense is, hey man, we had a backup in. Yeah, that's some card play. It is what it is. He's in Purdue getting his ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It wouldn't have mattered.
Oh
anyway.
man, y'all are hilarious.
All right. Here we go. All right. Looks like man, folks, I really appreciate everybody coming in. Nino, we've enjoyed having you on the show, man. You're
It's
gonna have to
always
come
fun.
back,
Yeah,
man.
brother.
Back
It was
hang out with
fun.
us, man.
It's always
It was
fun.
a lot of fun. All right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here on this one. Go around the table and let everybody know where they can find you. Start off with you there, Jay.
Oh yeah, last one in, first one on the stage. You can find me on Fair Sports. Search for me on YouTube. I ain't got a toothbrush here yet, but for the most part, I do have a cot in the back. So this is my other home anyway. So y'all know where to find me. I know everybody in the chat anyway.
That's right. And Coop's right there with them. Hey, Coop, you about to start doing your own videos and stuff on there too, huh? Let's start pumping them out.
yeah, I can't go within 500 yards of a school or be trusted to do my own videos. No, I've started doing a little bit. We've been doing it members only, taking a look at PWOs. That's my brother. Sorry, I was reading something.
I got a brother
And,
like that.
Yeah, but we've got some. I've been doing more in the guest list. I think we got Nigel tomorrow night. So if you want to hop on, we're gonna have Nigel Smith, and then we have a special visitor on Wednesday next week, and that's where I'll leave it there.
Tell him, Shawty. Tell him.
Well, what do you say, Texas? Hopefully, I know.
This is Shawty, man. He's a former UGA receiver.
Yeah.
He's on the Protect the Hedges podcast, and he's got another one too. Hey man, these guys are fun. Coach I and them. Have you seen them on Fanatic Sports Network? Good dude, man. He's busting your chops for sure.
It's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
he
We
does
got
that.
this.
Don't talk.
Hey, the good thing is y'all see each other next season, so we can really have conversation.
We're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna have fun. Yeah, Shawty Parker, man. That's our boy.
That was
All
so
right.
That's the homie.
If you
Tell
drop
him how
any,
to find
if
you
drop
there,
any-
Nino, so he can come look for your page, man.
Yeah, man. Go to YouTube and it said, so my YouTube is Nino's Corner Sports. Twitter is just Nino's Corner. Wednesday nights, me, Jay, Ty, Steven, Chris with a K, SEC Connect. Every Wednesday at 7:00 at night. So tune in, man. And then Fridays, man, me, Jay, Ty, and Steven do Bleacher Report, where we'd have a college football roundtable. So
yeah.
catch us there, man. We have a lot of fun. We talk a lot of shit, and it's just fun, man. It's just fun.
Man, I tell you what, I wanted to tell all you guys again, man. And Jay, you bounced out of here on the last show before I got to say it.
Yeah, my bad.
Congratulations to you guys on that. That's big and well deserved, by the way. Awesome stuff. We all hope to be like you guys someday.
It's the starting point, man. We gonna all move up to the top from that. That's gonna get get us pushed up.
And then pull everybody up with us.
Yeah, exactly, right, baby.
But no, for real, props to you guys. You work hard. You guys are as harder workers as anybody I see on YouTube. Much appreciation for that, and glad to be able to have you guys on our show. Coach, what do we always say? We have the best creators on this show right here. We bring them.
No doubt, my brother. No doubt.
And Coach, where are we gonna find you?
You can find my ass down at the corner bar, drinking some
at
cold
the corner
beers.
Market.
That's right,
down
baby.
At the bar, he said. Down at the bar.
Looking for Gundy.
There it is. Hey, and there's Coach I right there. Coach I, welcome to the show. You're just catching us on the way out, but thanks for coming in anyway. And hey, again, we'll see you guys. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. It would not be the channel that it is without all you folks that are in here today. All you folks that came over from Nino's show, we appreciate that. Hope that you hit that subscriber button on your way out. We're approaching 2,500, man. We're hoping to get a little further up sooner than later. So again,
come on,
yeah,
man.
we gotta throw him down, man. We gotta give him the right love since he came in.
We gotta throw it down. We gotta throw it down.
All right, man. Well, hey, we will see you all, guys. Hey, thank you so much for coming in again, and we will see you on the next one.